Today, we are going to talk about pricing strategies in buyer's market. You've heard me say many, many times, the goal is to get your unfair share. There's fewer deals being done, and real estate agents will say, I'm just trying to get my fair share. And my response is, no, get your unfair share. Your job as a real estate professional is to learn the skill set necessary to succeed in any market. And there's this different skill set, pricing conversations in a buyer's market than a seller's market. So buyers are looking for deals. When a buyer is out looking at properties right now, the very first thing they're looking for is condition of the property, and they're looking for a deal. When a buyer is buying a home today, they're buying a home today knowing that it's probably going to be worth less a year from now than what they paid for it today. Only properties that appear to be serious bargains get serious attention. If it's not a deal, if buyers don't see this property as a steal, it's still not priced right. I have conversations with real estate agents all the time, and I hear things like, I got a new listing, I'm excited, it's priced right. Tell me why it's priced right. We're still using the same thought process that we were using in a seller's market when it comes to pricing. If buyers don't see this property as a steal, it's still not priced right. Sellers who are slow to recognize this shift will quickly become overpriced and consequently overlooked. When a home first comes on the market, it attracts attention from those agents who are currently working with motivated buyers. If you don't get showings right away, the market is talking to you. And the feedback is you miss the price. Pricing is both a science and a skill. Observation of current pricing is a science, and the forecast is a skill. You've heard me say this a lot as well. This is a competition. In order for your home to sell, you've got to beat the competition. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Give me a second. Sellers in a shift must outthink the other sellers, the triers, by getting ahead of them. If a home isn't priced ahead of the market, it may be priced out of the market. Once sellers fall behind, they can end up chasing the market all the way down and losing the margin they would have gained by pricing it right in the first place. So on the whiteboard, you see that this is the price the seller wants. And in this line right here represents prices are falling. Prices are falling because there's more inventory and fewer deals being done. Simple. When sellers are competing for buyers, there are fewer buyers than there are sellers. The only way sellers are going to win that competition is by lowering their price. That causes prices to drop, and prices are falling. Between 2008 and 2012, market values dropped by as much as 50% based on where you're located. Not saying that's going to happen again. Also not saying it's not going to happen again. The bottom line is prices are dropping. So the seller starts out at a price they want. Over time, they make a price correction. They drop the price. Time goes by, still no offers. They drop the price again, and time goes by and still no offers. And they end up never getting the price they want. They were chasing the market down, and ultimately the home is not selling. Now, we're going to talk about a tale of two markets. You've got a buyer's market and you've got a seller's market. The top picture is the buyer's market. The graph, at the bottom of the graph, you'll see condition versus comps. From great to poor, you'll see price versus comps. From below the comparables to above the comparables. And when you're in a buyer's market, you've got a very small window of opportunity. This is in the market. Anything outside is considered out of the market. And when you consider that to a seller's market, less than 60 days of inventory. And I know according to NAR, if you are in a market with less than 4 months of inventory, it's considered a seller's market. 4 months to 6 months is considered a stable market. And anything over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. But I'm telling you, as soon as you hit 4 months on the market, prices are going to start dropping. And it's really, really simple math here, guys. You've got, if there's 4 months of inventory, you've got 12 homes for sale. There's 3 selling every 30 days. In order to sell your home, you have to be one of the 3. The only way that you're going to be one of the 3 homes that sell in that market is to beat the competition. In a market like that, the way that you beat the competition, when you have sellers competing for buyers, the only way to beat the competition is price. As you're lowering your price, prices are coming down. All right, so in the bottom, you see in a seller's market, same graph, you have a much bigger window of opportunity because you have less than 60 days of inventory, so you can price it higher. The condition also doesn't have to be a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. It could be a little less, and it's still going to sell. If you go back to 2021, this window was way out here. When there's less than 30 days of inventory, and frankly, there was just no homes for sale, any home that went on the market got immediate attention. All of you were talking about your biggest challenge was finding homes that were for sale, inventory. And we were talking about creating listings in a market where there are no listings. In other words, what's your make me move price? We were talking about having conversations with sellers and asking them, tell me what a price is that you would cause you to sell your home. And whatever price they gave you didn't have to be realistic. It could be absolutely ridiculous. You were still willing to have the conversation because there were no listings. And a lot of you have said, boy, I wish that market would come back. I wish I could take some of the videos from 2021 and play them back to you so you can hear yourselves complaining about the fact that there just wasn't any inventory. Now you're in a market where there's lots of inventory and there's fewer deals being done. There were 6.3 million homes sold in 2021. There was just over 4 million homes sold in 2024. We don't have the final numbers for 2025, but don't be surprised if it's less than 2024. You're also in a market where as homes sales increase, the number of agents getting into real estate also increases. So we've got 1.5 million real estate agents in the US, Stephen, competing for 4 million homes sold. You realize that's less than 3 deals per agent. I'm not saying that to discourage you because I actually want you to be encouraged by this. This is an opportunity market. In order to sell your home, you have to beat the competition. The only way to beat the competition is condition and price. Bottom 25% in price, top 25% in condition. And if you're not in the top 25% in condition, the only way to fix that is to lower the price even more. In a market where like we're in today, where there's lots of inventory, there's homes that are just very difficult to sell, like homes on busy streets or homes that back to an undesirable location. When buyers have a lot of choices and they can choose from, it's like going to the store and saying, okay, I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to buy beans. And you walk up to the shelf and there's one brand of beans on the shelf, you buy it, put it in your cart, you keep moving. Now there's a lot of different options. Now you're picky. Now you're reading the ingredients. You're looking at the prices. You're looking for what? You're looking for a deal. Versus there was one can of beans, buy it, go. Now you're in a market where there's lots of choices. Buyers have options. Buyers are picky. If you have a home that is not in a desirable location, or it's a home that has a condition, functional obsolescence, that's going to make it difficult to sell, it's not that you can't sell those homes, because you can. There's one thing that fixes everything. That one thing is price. There is a price for every home that a buyer would buy that home. Now, here's the other thing. Part of the art of persuasion is perspective, and it's helping sellers understand that you may be selling your home for less money than it's worth or less money than you want, but you're selling your home. You could be mad. You can go to the closing table and be angry. Bob, you can even be mad at me, but accept the offer and sell your home. Now, a year from now, if I call you, Leary, and I say, you know, that house you sold a year ago for $450,000, you wanted $500,000. You sold it for $450,000. If I call you a year from now and it's worth $425,000, did you give your home away? Obviously, the answer is no. Guys, find anybody who owned a home between 2006 and 2008 and decided they weren't going to sell their home because they couldn't get their price. And then over the next 4 years, the price of that home dropped by as much as 50%. Ask them if they can go back again. Would they sell their home between 2006 and 2008 for the price that a buyer was willing to pay? The answer 1,000% of the time is going to be yes. It's 1,000% of the time it's going to be yes. And I'm going to go back to one of the things that I said before we started, and we're going to wrap this up. You've got to put your buyer's hat on, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. You've got to think like a buyer. If a buyer is buying your home today, they're buying your home knowing that it's going to be worth less than what they paid for it. Scared that they might be in another situation where prices are dropping over the next 2 or 3 years. What if I have to sell my home 2 years from now and it's worth $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 less than what I paid for it? It's the number one thing that's holding them back. It's the reason why the only people who are buying are people who need to buy a home. There's not buyers out there right now buying to take advantage of a great market. That was 5 years ago. That ain't happening now. The only people who are buying now are buyers who need to buy. And they're buying knowing that they're probably paying more for the house than it's going to be worth a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe 3 years from now. They're looking for a deal. If your home goes on the market and you say things like it's priced right and you don't get immediate attention, meaning you don't get showings immediately, it means it's not priced right. It may be priced right based on comparables. It may be priced right based on other homes that are for sale in the area, but it's not priced right based on buyers who are looking for a deal. All right, talk to me. Go, Beth.
So if we were in that situation, as I am, how long? I told them 2 weeks we were going to reevaluate the price. What do you say? We listed live on Thursday, no showings.
All right, Wendy, talk to me.
What if you have the same situation you're saying, and you start out with a price, and the seller says that I'm going to wait until the market gets better. I don't think my house is going to drop. I don't think the market's going to get worse within the next couple of years. I think it's going to get better.
Let's go, Pamela.
So what if you have a seller who still owes money on their home?
Why are they selling?
They're selling because they want to be closer to family.
Okay. Are they willing to lose money in order to be closer to family?
Well, they definitely want their house paid off.
Can they afford to bring money to the closing table?
No.
Is it a hardship sell? Can they afford to continue to make the payments?
Yes. So would you recommend that they rent out their home?
There's a reason you're not having conversations like this. Most of the time, the answer is you're attached to the outcome. If you will unattach to the outcome, then you will have direct conversations and tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. All right, that's a wrap. Make it a great day, everybody. Invite your friends. See you tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Thank you for all of you.
Always great information.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Great call. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
If you're ready to explore what ownership in your business could look like, reach out. Scan the QR code or connect with me below. And don't forget to subscribe and share this with someone who's serious about building long-term wealth in real estate.